everyone. This is Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So today you don't need any props. We're going to be challenging our core strength and stability with some new exercises. So I'm going to join you on the mat or a soft surface on all fours. So I'm going to have you bring your knees hip distance apart here, and your hands nice and spread wide are going to be shoulder distance apart on the mat. So if you can, make sure to balance your weights on your whole hand, so including your knuckles versus just your wrists. So that will help mitigate any fatigue in the wrists while we're doing this. However, if you do notice that your wrists start to get a little bit tired, definitely listen to that and take breaks and do what feels best for you and your body. Always use these as an opportunity to be in dialogue with yourself and see what feels good for you on this day at this time. Okay, so knees hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart on the mat. So let's think about posture here. So you don't want to have a big dip in your back. You want to have a nice flat back. You want to think about your heart lifting up towards the ceiling above you. And you want to think about your your throat also lifting up towards the ceiling above you. And you want to always keep your throat a little bit behind your heart. And with that in mind, you'll find that your posture and your spine become in better alignment. And so the challenge is going to hold onto that posture while we move the rest of our body. Okay, so keeping that in mind, go ahead and find your posture. And we're going to start by just moving the left leg. So you're going to hold that posture with your other three limbs, and you're just going to let that leg come out behind you and in. So let yourself remember to breathe and hold on to that posture. So let's take one more. We're doing about 5 reps here and resting that back down. So we're doing about 5 reps, but if you need more time or you'd like to do less or more, you're certainly welcome to. So now we're going to do that same thing on the other side, which you may notice feels pretty different. So bringing that leg out and in. So as we're working, making sure to keep that posture, that torso stable, so you don't want to let things move as you bring that leg out. You want to keep everything relatively stable. That's where the challenge comes in. And resting back down. So if you need a little break here, you're welcome to come back into a child's pose, catch your breath, and coming back up, and we're going to do the same thing with the arms. So again, thinking about your posture, making sure your spine is not dipping down, making sure both your heart and your throat are kind of floating up towards the ceiling above you. Let's take this on the left arm. So you can probably already feel your core and low belly kicking on to help you. And again, we'll take about 5 reps here. Resting that back down, and we'll take the same thing on the other side. And remembering to breathe. It's pretty easy to start holding your breath and rest, but that breath is going to help keep you stable. Okay. So you can probably guess what's next. We're going to be putting opposite arm and leg together. So we're going to start with the left arm and the right leg. So finding your posture, if you need a little break for your wrists, You can come back into a child's pose. Take a nice deep breath. And again, if you also notice that your wrists are getting tired, see if you can bring in a little bit more lift from your center. So you can think about your heart, the center of your body, and your throat lifting up towards the ceiling above you. And that way you'll probably be pressing a little bit less on those wrists. Okay, so again, we're gonna take about 5 reps, but you can modify this however feels good for your body today. So finding your posture and remembering to breathe. Resting everything back down and sinking back into a child's pose. Nice deep breath. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to do the left arm and the right leg. And you'll notice that it's a different experience on each side, which is normal based on, which side is dominant, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And resting back down. You can sink back into a child's pose and catch your breath. And then you can come all the way back up. So, another way that you can do this is on your back. So you can bring both legs up into shelf, both arms, and we'll start this cross pattern on the right arm and the left leg. So you can bring one leg down into a heel tap while your right arm comes out into a T, bringing them back up together. Now it's perfectly acceptable if you want to keep one leg on the floor, one arm at your side, to do this with one side resting, but it's more of a challenge to keep those legs in shelf. Now as you're doing your heel tap, remembering to initiate everything from that glute, so really suctioning that leg into the back of the hip socket to move. So let's do one more time on this side, however you're choosing to approach this movement, and then we'll switch sides. So again, remembering to breathe, as that breath and that width throughout the torso is what's going to help keep you stable. Now, as you bring that leg into a heel tap, only bring that leg down as far as you can keep your spine in that nice posture. So as soon as you feel like that back wants to arch, that will be the end of your range for that heel tap. So let's do a couple more on this side. Of course, however, you can do as many reps or as few as feels good for your body today. And then you can go ahead, rest everything back down, give yourself a little shake. So I hope this was a fun way to challenge your stability. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, always listen to your body. If you feel like you'd like to do more reps and really get heated up and feel that burn, go ahead and do that. If you feel like you want a little bit easier of an experience, definitely let yourself have exactly what you need. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back here next time with more tools to help you stay feeling well in your body, mind, and spirit.